Hey guys, to help run the forums, host the website, and travel, we've introduced a universal service fee for in-depth coverage, including this video. My goal is to be unbiased and transparent. It's a privilege to serve you. This is not an endorsement. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's getting to be evening time and we're just enjoying a nice sunset here and we're checking out the VoltBike Elegant. And I'm here with Bianca, who's an employee of the company, but you had a VoltBike Elegant like years ago?
Actually, as recently as 1 month ago. Yeah.
Wow, did you sell it or what happened?
Yeah, I'm upgrading to a Bravo, so I'm really excited. I love this bike and it really served me well for a long time, so I'm good. I'm really excited about the Bravo, but this bike is great.
This is awesome, and you know, it's interesting to hear you say that because this has the lower kind of a step-through frame design. What made you switch to the Bravo?
I'm tall enough for it. Really, that's the only thing. It's I don't mind having space here, but I can fit the Bravo, which is just a straight across frame. So I'm looking forward to trying that one out for a while.
Well, perfect. There are some differences between the Bravo and the Elegant, even though they kind of look similar at first glance. The handlebars are a little bit narrower. This one has a tool-free adjustable stem that's a little bit longer, so you could bring it back and kind of shorten that reach distance. 27.2 millimeter seat post diameter versus 30.4. Otherwise, they have the same 500 watt Bafang planetary geared hub motor, the same great battery here. This is 48 volts, 12.8 amp hours, over 600 watt hours. Still has the USB charging port, full-size USB charging port. So if you had like even an iPhone, I checked mine and this puts out 5 volts, about an amp. So it will charge iOS devices, whereas some of the other USB chargers on electric bikes just put out 500 milliamps. It's not quite enough to charge some of those more power-hungry devices. SR Suntour XCT suspension fork with 28 millimeter stanchions versus 30, so it's slightly narrow, but it still has the hydraulic lockout. Preload adjust, about 80 millimeters of travel. Quick release, slightly smaller disc brakes on this, so 160 millimeter versus 180 millimeter, and the lever doesn't have the bell built in. It's still rubberized though, so that's going to keep your hands a little bit warmer. They've got a little rotary bell here, really cute. Still has the power button for the twist throttle. I really like that. I mean, there's a lot about these bikes that makes them approachable. Even though it comes in just one size, it's fairly adjustable. You know, we were talking about the stem and the seat post, and 2 colors. So black. What color was yours, Bianca?
Mine was white.
Yours was white. Okay, so I'm wearing the white helmet, and I usually go for the white bikes because they tend to stand out a little bit more as we get towards like dusk or maybe early in the morning, whereas black doesn't stand out as much. Why did you choose white?
It's a safety thing really for me, just being bright enough and visible enough.
Well, cool. Very, very cool to hear you kind of resonate on that. And, you know, they've got the nice reflectors and stuff built in, including integrated lights. So I was going to power this one up over here just to show you those lights. Once the battery's all charged and mounted down here, it does have a little like LED power indicator, but you don't have to turn that on first. You just come up here, hold the power button. See, it's backlit. It looks really nice. And if we hold the plus button for just a second, the backlighting comes on, and then the headlight. So that's a blaze light. It is adjustable, so you can kind of angle it down a little bit. It's mounted to the arch of the suspension, so it might bounce a little bit if you're going over rough terrain. But it, you know, gets the job done, and it's running off that same battery, rechargeable battery, so you don't have to worry about replacing or physically turning these lights on and off. And same thing with the rear. So it's just one LED, but it's a nice reflective surface, and it's got this welded on rack, whereas the Bravo had kind of a bolt-on rack. So I like this rack. It's really sturdy. It's got narrower tubing, so it's going to fit a lot of those aftermarket panniers and bags. Max load 25 kilograms. That's about 55 pounds. One area they've really upgraded since like 2017 when I last reviewed this bike is with the fenders. So you can see it's attached down here, here, and then they've got this metal support strut, and it's not really like as adjustable. It's a little bit more sturdy the way that they've designed these. So see how these ones are connected like this, and then back here you can see it's actually going under the fender, and we've got this like kind of a mud flap, and that's something that's really handy if you're pedaling and then you're turning, and see how that mud flap gets close. So if you bump that, or if you go over a curb or something, it's not going to break the fender. The fenders are a little bit more reliable. That's something I really appreciate. Pedals on these bikes are slightly narrower than on the Bravo as well. They're a little bit bigger, and maybe it's kind of a, I don't know if it maybe like kind of a masculine thing. I like the Bravo. It does have sort of a sloped top tube, but this one's definitely lower, a little bit more approachable. Who buys these, Bianca?
We get a lot of ladies, seniors, basically.
Yeah.
This is the main people.
Well, it is lighter than the Bravo too. So this one's like 56 pounds, whereas that one's like 59 and a half. So it's got, for having the same motor, the same battery pack, to have it be lighter, a little bit easier to approach, that's, you know, that could be appealing. Definitely appreciate that. Otherwise, you know, a lot of the bike is very similar, and the charger, it's the same charger, 2 amp, 1.5 pounds, easy to toss into your backpack. So if you live somewhere where it's really cold or really hot, it's a good idea to store that battery somewhere where it's just kind of cool and dry, and that way it's going to last longer. It's going to have more charge cycles before it starts to wear down. But VoltBike has like this comprehensive year-long warranty, and you're part of the support staff. So if people call in, they might end up talking to you.
That's right. Yeah, we have a 1-year warranty on all the electrical components, all the important stuff of the bike, really.
Yeah.
E-bike.
Well, and we were at the facility earlier walking around. I'm gonna cut to that and you guys can see for yourself, because it was neat to walk around, and we even talked. So we'll see you there. This VoltBike has a new warehouse headquarters, and I'm with the founder. This is George back here. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Conte. Hi. I do remember last time you came like 2 years ago, right? It has been so much time since then. We purchased that like a brand new warehouse over here.
You purchased this, so this is like your own warehouse.
Yeah, that's our own warehouse. Let's go inside. Yeah.
Let's check this thing out. So I've already actually been in here looking around a little bit, and I met Bianca earlier, and I think you're one of the people would talk to if they called in and had questions or whatever. That's right. We're putting a face with a voice here. I really appreciate it. And George was telling me that you actually bought one of the bikes before you worked here.
Yes, I'm on my 3rd VoltBike now. I'm getting the Bravo. So
getting a Bravo. Okay, yeah. Sweet. Well, so that's one of the ones we're going to cover during this trip. So.
I think she's one of our, very first customer. You know, she bought like a VoltBike Metro electrical scooter like 3 years ago. Then she upgraded to VoltBike Elegant, and then VoltBike Bravo. You know, finally. So
very cool.
She is basically one of our customers. So she turns out to be our customer service now.
When she keeps coming back, so that's a good sign. And this is Chris, kind of like a product manager, and also you said some support, right?
Correct, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, we provide all kinds of support to our customers on the phone, online, or in person. We offer a 1-year warranty on all the mechanical and electrical.
Hey, Bernie. What's going on here?
I'm just truing up the spokes, putting tension on the spokes. We do every single rim that comes on our bicycles. Everyone is trued up and everyone is tensioned.
This is looking good, and I think that's a real differentiator. George, I don't know if you did this before, because a lot of companies, especially with some of the more affordable bikes, they'll be like made somewhere else and shipped in a box. You unbox them, you true the wheels, you get the cable set up, and then you repackage it so that it's like really fine-tuned.
Exactly. Right? So that's what we do. So basically, the bike basically comes out of the box. We do the spokes, the gears, adjust the brake cables. We make sure that the battery is working. You know.
You actually charge it up and like cycle it?
We charge it up as well. Yeah. We test the motor, and then we pack it back in a box. Extra heavy box, you know, basically one of those boxes. We put like styrofoams inside, like a carton boxes, to make sure it is actually, basically bulletproof, you know. It
Sweet.
is.
Sweet. Well, that's good, because you might be, look, a lot of people don't have a nice bike stand like this, and you might not have this. This is a spoke wrench right here. You might not have the nice tools or that experience that these guys do. Is this Yavor? Is that right?
Yes.
Rad, dude. I met this guy earlier, and we were chatting a little bit, just like checking out some of the different models, and I think this is the Bravo. This is the one that Bianca is going to get, maybe, right?
Absolutely.
Is this a popular one?
It is. It is.
I'm going to hop back out to the review. Just kind of fun to show behind the scenes. I get the privilege of riding these bikes when they're built and they're all set up kind of professionally by the team. But it sounds like more than a lot of the other online direct companies, you're kind of going to get that experience too. Apparently, all you have to do is kind of twist the handlebar, install the pedals, and the pedals do have like a left and a right sticker on them or whatever, so it should be pretty clear. There's instructions in the back. Am I getting this right, Bernie?
You are, yes.
Okay, I think that's about it, you guys. I'll see you back out there. Okay, guys, so welcome back. I was going to power this down real quick and then show you how this battery works, since we talked about removing it before. So it's spring-loaded. There's this little handle, and you just pull on it. Do my best with one hand here. Come on, oh, almost got it. There it is. Awesome. 7.5 pounds on this battery. Really great that you can bring it inside with you, and you can use that USB charging port as like a portable power bank. So maybe you go camping or on a picnic with your friends or family, and you can bring that battery with you and use it to run your little portable speakers or something like that. Definitely appreciating it. And then thinking about the panniers and stuff, they do have these like waterproof panniers that have reflective sidewalls, kind of a logo thing on the side. So coming back to safety, those are about $70. The Elegant is the same price as the Bravo, so it's $15.99 USD or $16.99 Canadian. You know, pretty decent. It's kind of that affordable range, but you're getting all the accessories. I would call this feature complete or commuter ready, because you don't have to worry about the rain, you don't have to worry about the dark and stuff, and it's well integrated and it's pretty well balanced. We weighed the bike from here. You know, it tipped forward a little bit because of the spring suspension and maybe the battery position, but otherwise a lot of really good handling. Now I'm going to go ahead and boot this thing up so we kind of make sure that the battery's secure right there. Press the power button for a second. It boots up very quickly. We can see there's speed at the top. It's in kilometers per hour because we're in Canada right now. There's 5 bars on that battery infographic. Each one represents 20% increment. Pedal assist level, it always starts in 1, which means the throttle is hot unless you've disabled it with that physical press button. I really like that. And you'll notice that the shifter here, it's very large. So if you're wearing gloves, you know, you don't have to worry about the tiny little triggers down here. This is very easy to read. It's got that nice kind of a gauge here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're switching through 7 sprockets back here. 14 tooth to 28 tooth. The 28 tooth is going to help you climb, makes it very easy to get started. Rust resistant chain, and this is another difference on the Elegant. It's this plastic chain cover, so if you're wearing pants like me, or maybe you've got a skirt or something, it's not going to get greasy or dirty touching that chain. Definitely appreciate that. And then I believe it's a 44 tooth chain ring up here, so it's giving you a pretty good range of gears to hit and maintain that 20 mile per hour top assisted speed. So you can go down to 0 if you want. Maybe not. I thought you could go down to 0. You definitely can on the Bravo, and I wanted to call that out because you might wonder, well, why? Why would you want to go to 0? And the reason is you can still run the lights and you can still see how full the battery is and stuff. But then not worry about pedal assist. And the pedal assist on this bike, it uses this cadence sensor down here. There's 12 magnets on it, and it just senses the pedal rotation to give you a little bit of a boost with that 500 watt motor. Otherwise, you can use the variable speed twist throttle, and that's going to get you going at any time. And it does override assist, so you could be up here in level 2 or level 3 getting just a little bit of power, and then you can zip up to speed or help climb with that throttle. They're very complementary. And then down here we have trip stats, and if you want, you can tap that power button and it goes through from speed to average speed to max speed, and then down at the bottom it says, okay, odometer, and then time, and then there's this power meter. So like as I twist the throttle, it actually, oh, here we go, I have to press that button in again. As we twist the throttle, you can actually see the motor power surging. So that's very cool. There's a lot of good feedback coming from this bike. I think that's a pretty good overview, but I wanted to mention again, you hold the plus button to get that headlight going and the rear light and the back lighting. Hold minus and it gives you walk mode, which can be useful if you're in a park, or maybe you've got a bunch of groceries loaded up and you just feel like, maybe I don't feel comfortable riding. I want to just walk the bike, or you get a flat tire. I mean, these tires, slightly smaller than the Bravo. They're 26 by 2.1 versus 27.5 by 2.1. So that brings the whole frame down. Again, it's all about approachability. This is a very standard tube size. They don't have the reflective sidewalls. They don't have puncture protection, but they seem decent. And there's, you know, kind of a slick, very efficient, quiet tread pattern on these. Okay, so coming back, there is one more thing with the display. If you double tap the power button, we can change from kilometers to miles if you want to. You can get through here and change the backlight brightness. So there's all the way bright, and then a few more settings. And they do have a good manual and stuff. So I think that's about it. I think it's time to hop on these bikes and go for a little ride. You ready to go, Bianca? She's excited about it. I'm gonna hop on this one and then just do a little chase cam here. Go for it. Whoop. We turn on the lights too. There we go. Beautiful. Nice sunset. It's a good time for a ride. cadence sensing pedal assist is pretty cool because you don't really have to push very hard. You just move the cranks and you'll get the motor power, and then you can adjust how high the setting is right there. So I think that's about it. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn around. We can head on back. We'll get a nice shot of that headlight real quick when she turns. Beautiful. Yeah, we'll just head back. Kind of getting to be evening time anyway. I'll see you back there. Okay, I'm gonna do the thing where I go to the highest level of assist, which in this case is 9. A lot of other electric bikes just go to 5, but 9 means with the more steps you get like finer increments. Oh, look at those mountains, purple mountains, beautiful. So having 9 levels, it means there's more button presses, but it also means that the steps are a little bit finer, not quite as big of a jump between power levels. Testing out that suspension. And you can hear a little bit of a fender wobble when I was going over the bumpy sections, but it works out pretty well. And VoltBike gives you one of these helmets when you buy their bikes, which is kind of cool. It's a nice little safety upgrade. They just throw it in. I think you might want to request which size. I'm wearing the size large in black right now, or white. She's got the black one. Okay guys, from here you can see that, well, you can't actually because the chain cover, but it's a 38 tooth chainring. Earlier I said it was 44, and I was actually referring to the Bravo. So I was a little bit mixed up there, but the cassette is the same. It's a 14 to 28 tooth, and it's just got the tourney derailleur, which is sort of a step down. That's the entry level component group from Shimano. It still gets the job done. It just might weigh a little bit more, and it's not quite as it's just not quite as compact and refined. It's definitely a cost savings part, but I love that they've got this derailleur guard because it's going to protect the motor power cable and the derailleur, and it just keeps this nice, you know, they are shipping this in a big box and stuff, so it's nice that even with the rust resistant chain and everything, the drivetrain should be in great shape, and it should keep you clean too. So I'm going to pedal along in the highest level of assist, and I do that purposefully so that the motor is the most pronounced. But of course you could make it a lot quieter by just using the throttle gently or using a lower level of assist. So here we go. And you'll be able to see how quickly it starts, but there's a bit of a delay for the motor to cut off. And that's why it's nice that both brake levers have the power, kind of a motor inhibitor. So anytime you pull on those, they tell the whole system to stop. It's a great safety measure. Yeah, so I'm definitely noticing that like delayed cutoff and having to use the brakes if I really want to stop in time. But the brakes themselves, they've been working really well. Again, slightly smaller than the Bravo, 160 versus 180, but with a smaller wheel diameter, you're getting a similar effective like stopping power here. They're plenty good for a sort of a neighborhood urban bike like this. It's just about, you know, comfort and cruising, and it's a lot of fun. It's nice to have the throttle and pedal assist, in my opinion, just in case you do have the rack full of gear, or maybe you need a little help getting started or climbing. So I really like that. This time I'm actually just going to do the throttle. And I think I could hear that rear fender maybe bouncing around a little bit. I do actually have the keys in the ignition up here too, which they could have been rattling just a little bit. You'd probably take those out most of the time. But it's nice to have that extra measure of security. And I was showing you the display before, and it does tilt back and forth to help you to reduce glare, but it's not removable. So that could take a little bit more weather wear and maybe get scratched up at the bike rack or something. So at least it's right there in the center of the handlebars, a little bit out of the way. And then the battery, which is one of the more expensive components on the bike, it's nice that you can take that off, especially just in a cold environment where it's nice to store that and keep it in good shape and help it prolong its life a little bit. I hope those tips help you guys out. Well guys, I think that's about it. We're almost back to the headquarters. Whoop! For the full written review on this, I'll see you guys back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Ride safe out there. And of course, I've got all the dimensions, all the measurements and stuff, trying to help y'all out. You can compare this back to back with some of the other models. Big thanks to you, Bianca. Really appreciate the help. And here are their headquarters. It's such a great place. And you know, if you come and you get this bike, you can actually test ride it and you'll save on the shipping and stuff, as we mentioned on our little store tour. There's George getting ready to head out for the day. Okay. Lots of fun.
I'm still here. I'm waiting for you guys. Okay.
Yeah. Take care. Ride safe, guys.